Oops. Messed my camera up from the start. How's it going, YTPC family? Today is part 2 of the Story of My Life series, and I believe, if I'm correct, when I last left off, I was just talking about the weapons station I wanted to be on, not yet to deployment. And for all of those who are looking for combat stories, I'm not telling them. I'm going to tell some of the funny things that happened, and then I'll get to like coming back home and going back to college, if depending on how long this video is. But just some housekeeping. Where's my lighter? My lighter is here. Got my triple espresso with Bailey's. And my Savinelli 614. So let's tamp this top down just a little bit, and give her first light. And inside the Savinelli, I've got a Buffalo Bill, which is a custom blend from a shop in Wyoming, in Sheridan. Or was it Wild Bill? My head remembers Wild or Buffalo Bill, but it might be Wild Bill. So I'm renaming it Buffalo Bill because it just makes sense. Let's give it that good light. It's got a very good retrohale. But for my tour to Afghanistan, we got to Afghanistan on Christmas Day, like the 25th or the 24th, on Christmas Eve, I mean. So our first day in Afghanistan was greeted with officers dressed up as Santa, passing out like presents from home, which was nice, but we hadn't been there very long, so we're like, I don't think we deserve this. We spent about 2 weeks in individual training. That's when I actually went to that Crow class in country, so, and where I scored 100 and made sure I was in the Crow station. And other people went to their individual trainings as well. But some of the funny things that happened, of course, I'll get to the camel spider incidents, but at our base, we went to a place called Cop Kill a Guy, Khilguy, and it was spelled differently on every map. You just replace the vowels. Sometimes it was Cop Kill a Guy, Kayla guy, you know, it was an old Russian name or something like that, no idea, but we called it Kill a Guy. That was how we called it. And once we were there, we were a RCP, which means a route clearance package, meaning that we go in front of everybody else to find the bombs and IEDs and clear the road. So we go at 2 to 5 kilometers per hour and clear the road for everybody else that's going through there. So it's a very slow process. Because our mine detector and ground penetrating radar vehicle, the Husky, can only go so fast and be able to detect something. And then once we have found something, we have what's called the Buffalo, which has a giant arm attached to it to interrogate the IEDs. And it's called interrogation because you're like maneuvering it. You can uncover the earth. It had an air pressure blower to blow the sand away from it, which was later replaced by a water stream thing. It looked like a giant donkey dick and it flapped around. But it's neither here nor there. But route clearance package. But some funny stuff. One of our routes was called Route Uranus. So of course, this every time our lead vehicle, when the lead vehicle goes around, he tells, okay, we're turning onto wherever. And so every time it's all right, we're turning on Uranus, or we're going into Uranus. You know, just the standard jokes about Uranus. I'm going to be relighting this log because I'm going to be talking. But we also had one day, my best friend and another good friend, they decided to fill our truck with like 500 balloons. And it was on an off day, so it was okay. But I go back to PMCS, the truck, and PMCS is pre-military or pre-mission checks and inspections. And I just open the truck and balloons start falling out, and I just go, shit. And I go up to our sergeant, and I'm just like, hey, sergeant, come check this out. And he was all confused as fuck. And he just looked at it, kind of chuckled a bit, and then we saw the two guys who did it just kind of snicker, and he's like, you guys better take care of it and clean it all up, or else I'm destroying your ass. So they had to go in with a knife and just stab each one individually and clean up all the carcasses of balloons for a while. But it was a funny prank. More of a prank on themselves since they had to clean it up. But you know how it be. Supposedly they put on their night vision goggles and were low crawling through the night so no one would notice them. Supposedly. And let's see, we had one time we were at a German COP or combat outpost, and one of our guys, one of the same guys who put the balloons in my truck, he was one of those guys that became funny in school so he wouldn't get bullied as much. He got naked inside the tent and tied himself up and was just hog-tied in the middle of the floor. And this is just normal action for him, like, that no one cared until one of the sergeants walked in and said, who did this? And we all were like, he did it to himself. And then he just kicked him. What? Like, and when I mean hog-tied, I mean like he also gagged himself with a sock and tied it in. This guy's a doctor now, by the way. And I love him to death. Other funny stories would be the camel spiders. On my Facebook, I had the stories of the camel spiders out again. About how I walked into a pack of camel spiders and they got robbed and they took my boots. It was just a funny little series I had on Facebook to kind of relieve stress. But my Facebook got banned a few years ago, so I lost all that fun stuff. But that's neither here nor there. We had all these stories seem to involve the same guy. But he was out there when we were leaving. We were in the transient tents. And he just brings in a flip-flop with a camel spider hanging off of it. And I mean, like, this fucking big with its legs, just fanging through the plastic of his shoe going, look what I got. And we are all like, we will fucking shoot you if you don't get that thing out of here right now. And he goes, puts it outside and goes to get his boot to try and squash it. And the camel spider dragged away his flip-flop. Just gone. And so we had to combat lost that. But, there was just so many fun times. Like, one time, John Oliver and the cast of the Daily Show came out and visited our COP, and I got to sit down with him at lunch for like an hour. Like, I usually was first in line for lunches. on the days where we weren't on mission and we only had a DFAC at our base for the last 3 months of our deployment. Before that, it was Combat Kitchen. And I planned it. I waited until the helicopters came and then I went to lunch. And I saw like the reserve table and I sat next to the reserve table. And then I swear, when John Oliver came in, they're all sweaty. They've got like kind of ragged beards because they've been in the country for a bit. He looked at the reserve table, looked at me, looking at him, looked at the reserve table, looked at me, looking at him, and he sat down with me. And it's just like, I'm so tired of hanging out with the big wigs. I want to sit with one of the lower people. And I was like, thank you. And so we just talked for like an hour about comedy and other stuff like that. I told him the story of the camel spider, of a different camel spider, and he apparently used it in one of his stand-ups at the end of the deployment. He did a little stand-up at an Air Force base, and apparently used it. So my story got used by an actual famous comedian. But I think that's enough for just Afghanistan stories in general. I just want to say it was the best worst time of my life. I didn't know at the time that, an explosion would actually cause me brain damage. I thought all was fine. It didn't activate until like 2016, and I got back in 2013. So I had 3 good years before my life would change forever. But we'll get to that in part 3. Part 3 is PTSD and on. But for this, when we first got home, I moved to Lubbock to be with my fiance at the time. Come to find out that she had cheated on me and went through my phone and tried to find an excuse of me talking to a girl that was just a friend as cheating on her to validate her cheating on me. Anyways, no more fiance. And I went on a kind of a horse streak because I was trying to get over her by doing it with a lot of other girls, which did not help probably. I just needed the time to help, but I was using all the money I had that I had just gotten from deployment that they tell you don't spend it all on alcohol and going out and partying, which, in hindsight, pretty dumb, wasting all that money on alcohol, but it was fun. And I got, a lot of good stories from drinking. For example, we had a kegger just about every weekend at my second apartment during my second semester at Tech. And boy, it was a blast. We found out that a keg of Shiner, and if you're from Texas, Shiner is king, was only $90, whereas like everything else was $110 or more. So like Bud Light, Coors Light, all the lights were like $110. You can get Heineken for like $140, or you can get Shiner for $90. And so we just bought a giant trash can, would rent the tap and get a keg of Shiner almost every weekend. We caused a lot of problems in that place. We caused a lot of problems that the next year, there was like, I had moved out, but the next year, they had like really strict enforcements on like time or quiet times and stuff like that. But We had a lot of parties. And it didn't affect my grades. I actually was doing fairly good. Oh, hello, kitties. Oh, you're so cute. We got two wild feral kitties that are ours, or my mom has claimed. One's an orange kitty called Marmalade, and one's a female black kitty that we just call Kitty Black Kitty, because when we first saw it, it was literally a kitty, like teensy tiny, and somehow has survived. And then we got Toby over there sitting his inside enclosure. But with college, I signed up for the wrong benefits under the help of the Texas Tech staff. And the way that they had me using my benefits was so they would get more money. And I learned out from my friends that were going to Texas A&M that I was using the wrong benefits the wrong way. And so I was using double the benefits and getting half the return for money wise and everything else. And so I dropped out of college because everything was all wonky and I wouldn't have enough to finish college. The deer feeder is now going off. But after that, me and my best friend moved in together. I still had another semester of college that I was like doing, but he moved up to go to law school at Texas Tech, and we played a lot of Destiny, the video game, together. And my partying dropped down to, we didn't really party. We occasionally made like drinks for ourselves, but like I calmed down a lot, and for the best. But that's when I was getting low on money because I had spent my money on buying a car almost outright. I had bought a ring and was still paying that off because I couldn't get a good price trying to resell it. So I was just like holding on to it for a bit. I eventually did, pawn it off, but it wasn't for much. And this, that, and the other thing, I calmed down a lot. And I think, is there anything else I can tell? Let me ponder real quick. Let me ponder my orb, aka my pipe. I mean, there's so much I could tell. It's just trying to think of it on the spot. Since I don't come in with any like sheets of anything, I'm already at almost 19 minutes in, and I try and keep things a little bit shorter. But this one could be a longie. But just word to the wise: when using your benefits for school, check to make sure that you're using the right ones. Since I was a reservist, we got the Montgomery bill, or for Texas, we got the Montgomery bill, which I should have been using because it actually pays you and pays for college. I did not use that, and I signed my rights away from using it, I think. But so I dropped out of college and I started working. I had been working retail jobs just in general, just for the extra money, along with being a reservist. So once a month we had to drive from Lubbock to Houston and back. But when I moved in with my friend, he was also in the same unit, same team as me actually, and we also looked alike when our heads were shaved, He was my twin. We would just drive down together. So we would share the load of the drive. He would drive half, I would drive half. He's now a attorney in Fort Worth. Oh, my kitties are talking together. Let's see if I can film this. That's Kitty Black Kitty and Toby. Come on, Toby, say hi. She wants you to love on her. She's also hungry. Meow. All right. I hope the camera caught that and it wasn't just like my thumb was in the way or something. Otherwise, that'd be very disappointing. My thumb was probably in the way, wasn't it? I don't know. But I think that's going to be it for part 2 of the Story of My Life series. Part 3 will come whenever part 3 comes. I've got to clean. I've got a long day of jarring. Not really. I have like 4 or 5 blends I need to jar. I jarred my Buffalo Bill this morning because I woke up super early because I'm used to waking up super early to drive. And so my kitty, there's just a blind spot in the tent where like you can enter it from the side, and he wants to see Kitty Black Kitty, but he can't really see her, and he's just mewing and trying to like move around. Hopefully if they interact, I'm gonna hold on the video. I'm gonna keep interacting with you guys until she's done eating, and then they can interact again to make sure that you guys see them together. But I hope you're enjoying this series. Next part will be a more serious tone, not as fun as just having fun in Afghanistan and going to college and partying. This next series is basically going to start in 2016 when I had my mental breakdown and my PTSD showed itself. Is Marmalade coming up? Is that what you're looking at? And I've been fighting it ever since 2016. But for a while, I was good. But this is all for next story. So I'm going to think of something, a good story to tell now. Look at Kitty by Kitty. Don't look at me. She's looking at you. She's hungry. She's a hungry girl. I talk to my cats, like everyone. Everyone talks to their pets, and they have their specific pet voice. And by the way, if you ever have a chance to go to Sheridan, Wyoming, go to the PO stop or whatever it's called and get you some of this. They have like 20 blends and it's just great. I don't know if you can hear them meowing, but they're meowing very loudly. Okay, here we go. Camera's on this side, thumb will be over there. Kitty by Kitty can't, since she can't actually rub on him, she has to rub against the cage. Oh, they went for a kiss. Is there any way I can flip this camera? Nope. Hi, Kitty by Kitty. Are you going now? come back. Toby, go get your girl. Toby. All right, she's going back to eat more. All right, but guys, thank you so. It's just gonna have to be crooked and backwards. Thank you guys so much for joining me for part 2 of my life. I'm not sure I was very informative. It was mostly just stories. But part 3 will be PTSD, and maybe there's a part 4 of my redemption arc. Part 4 will be my redemption arc it will start with me when I moved down here, started pipe smoking, and met all you guys and girls. So thank you guys. God bless. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more content. Go look at my other videos. Hit that like button. Comment what you think about the video down below, or any other topics you might have. Oh, there's a bug in my cat's cage and he's trying to catch it. I better show this. Get it, Toby. Did you get it? I think you got it. But thank you guys all so much for once again. Oh, he's still going after it. He's got those cat-like reflexes. We're gonna have. I don't think I actually announced it. So I'm gonna put the phone down for a second. If I can get it to stay up. Okay. At 222 subscribers, we're gonna have a double giveaway for 222. Just because I've been gifted so much, I've got to give back. I've been gifted so much, and we got more stuff coming. Thank you, Informed Delivery. But there'll be 2 winners, a presenter winner and a commenter winner. Not commoner, commenter winner. There'll be 2 pipes given out. Oh God, he is jumping for that whatever. I think it's a mosquito or something that's in there. There'll be 2 pipes to be won. And what I'm gonna do is, instead of having, just 2 pipes, since I want to make things as simple as possible in the shipping aspect, I will let you choose your pipe off of smokingpipes.com with a money value, like a top money value. You'll get to choose which pipe you want, so that way you get something exactly that you want within the value that I set. You'll get also 2 tins and 2 bulk bags. So 2 pipes given, 2 bulk bags, and 2 tins. You only get 1 pipe though. 1 pipe, it's just there's 2 pipes being given out. But you will get 2 tins and 2 bulk bags. And the bulk bags will come in 2 ounces for 2. It's just gonna be 2s all around, except for 1 pipe given. Just because if I gave out 2 pipes to 2 people, I'd have to lower down the price to like $50 or like 25. You'd have to get the clay pipe. But that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm not sure. Once it goes off, I gotta think of a good way to make the comments will just be the same thing. It'll be like, tell me a story or something like that, and you'll be entered into the contest, and the video will be probably the same thing, just make a video about it. But that is my announcement. Once we hit 222 followers or subscribers. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button, tell your friends about me, or don't, doesn't really matter to me. We'll get there eventually. But thank you guys, God bless, and have a great day.